you have a big picture about Pro Day and having all these NBA scouts here to showcase your guys?
Well, there are a lot of things you want to try to get accomplished when you're running a basketball program, and we could have had Pro Day back in 2014, with the exception of maybe KT Harrell to watch KT. And this is no criticism of anybody. We may not have got many guys to show up, right? And so the last several years to have, between 28 and 25 to 28 scouts the last 4 or 5 years is great. This is for the kids. That's what this is about. And I just always sort of equate it to, when I was in the school of management at Boston College, it was a big deal when, some big company like IBM came on campus to interview. And if you were in the school of management, you got a chance to interview with IBM. Well, that was really cool. Well, this is what this is all about. These scouts, these pro scouts are interviewing our players, and they're laying eyes on them personally. And so one of the things that we'll do today is we'll try to put them in some shooting drills and some things where they can sort of see them doing the things that they would have them do if they came in and worked out. And then we'll probably have a 20-minute scrimmage with officials, and I hope we shoot the lights up. I hope the offense is better than the defense, which it's been so far this year.
Speaking of that, first, Janai was just saying he felt like the thing you guys are focusing on most is defense. Right now in the preseason, he said he feels like the offense is going to be there because of how many shooters you guys have. What's kind of, at this point in the preseason for you as a coach, what's the defensive focus for the team?
So if we had 5 guys that could keep 5 guys in front of them, you wouldn't have to worry about rotations. You wouldn't have to worry about changing defenses. You wouldn't have to worry about help side. You wouldn't have to worry about, your ball screen coverage off the ball. You just put 5 guys out there who stay in front of 5 other guys, and those teams usually win championships and are the best teams out there. We don't have that luxury. So therefore, we've got to be in the right spots at all times. And we've got to go get 50-50 balls. We don't have Walker back there to clean everything up. Not that Dylan or Janai or Shaney or Jalen can't block shots, but I think we're better offensively than we're defensively, and our biggest challenge is one-on-one coverage.
How you feeling rebounding is kind of going as teams in the preseason?
I think our perimeter checkouts have been really good. We've done drill work every day so that when the ball goes up, our guys are initiating contact. Our inside guys could do a better job of increasing their umbrella, but I think they're definitely doing a good job. But what we're not doing is explosively going after 50-50 balls with 2 hands. In other words, you got to elevate and go get it and possess it and chin it. And so often an offensive rebounds leads to 3 balls. So ending possessions like that is right now, and it has been our biggest weakness.
Is there a guy or a couple of guys that have taken some strides since you guys came on the court this summer? Anybody that you go, hey, that guy's really gotten better? Anybody improved?
Well, what's incredible is how much bigger the guys that come in for the first time have gotten. That's the one thing that you notice, in the sense that AD or Chad Baker, Chad Baker came in at 170, he's 181 now, and he could put 20 more on, but getting those 11 on him were huge. Denver's up at least 10, 12, Cheney's up 15 pounds, and he looks great. He just looks different. That's credit to Damon Davis. And you see it in their legs, you see it in their hindquarters, they see it, you see it physically. And I think, since, toughness and physicality, a big part of the game, I think there's a little bit more size, a little more tough strength will help you be a little tougher. Aiden's body's changed in a period of time, so I think that's been the biggest thing. And the balance continues to be there. I told the team that at some point next week, I would actually let the team know right now, if we play today, who the starting 5 would be, who the guys backing up would be. And so I got to come to that next week. And that is just not going to be easy because there's been really, really good parity across the board.
We saw the testing numbers you guys put up. Denver had really high marks on a lot of them. I think a lot of people know him as a shooter and a scorer.
Right.
How impressed have you been with him as an athlete and kind of doing some of the stuff y'all been working on?
Denver was a shooter primarily and a really good team player. And a great mid-range guy. A great guy that can get to the elbow and pull up for a mid-range. But now he's getting downhill. Now he's getting to the rim, and he's elevating, and he's finishing, throwing some contact. So, and Denver's always probably been a good defender, but not a great defender. I think a combination of the fact that he's really worked on his defense and the fact that he stands out a little bit defensively because we're not very good defensively. So he tends to stand out a little bit, which is great because it tells you that he's really, really worked on it and he's improved.
Janai, Janai obviously went through that whole process. This kind of thing is not new to him. What would you like to see from him this preseason, and maybe a couple areas that you think he can improve on?
Well, I think the biggest challenge for Janai is when does he go in and when does he go out? Because he's improved his perimeter shooting, but every time he takes a shot on the perimeter and doesn't make it, he's also not in there rebounding. And so there's a fine line in there between, and a lot of it's going to wind up being his percentages, that he needs to be above 30% three-point shooter, probably more above like a 33% three-point shooter to feel like he's got the green light. He's really close, and he'll have practices where he'll make 4 or 5 in a row, which is great. But he's also so good around the basket. So that inside-out situation. And then, obviously I always want Janai to play faster, to play quicker, and to be more of a factor in the defensive end. Walker Kessler had the same issue. I said, Walker, stop playing like you're 7'1". He's like, Coach, but I am 7'1". But what I mean is play like a basketball player. Move, and Walker can move like he's 6'6". Janai sometimes plays like he's 6'10". He needs to try to move like he's 6'5".
You talked last week about Aiden and Trey defensively trying to take a step forward. What have you seen from those guys?
They've both been really good offensively. Aiden is such a phenomenal shooter and definitely a gamer, and he can make some one-on-one plays, and he's got special in him. Trey's had a great offseason, a great fall, a great summer, and a great fall, and whatever your expectations were, you thought it'd be a flat-out no-brainer. We're gonna have a good point guard on the floor. What I've encouraged both of them to do, because I think they've both been better offensively than defensively. Trey's shooting the ball really well. Trey understands the offense a little better, and as he should. So early on, Trey has the advantage. Is can they separate themselves defensively, because it's both the area they both need to improve on. They just flat out need to improve on keeping guys in front, and that's what we're working on.